So one thing I get most questions about are the plants in here. I think quite a few people assume plants won't grow because the temperature's so high, so everyone's asking what are the temperatures, what substrate do you use, what's the trick. I think maybe the plants look better on the videos than if you zoom right in, so there are still a few issues on the plants, we'll be honest. There's some little black tufty algae there. Remove that when you can, just pull the leaves off, but I mean the plants aren't too bad. It's not been that difficult to grow plants, to be honest, and I think the secret is good lights and good flow and of course the substrate. So if you're going to have a discus tank, you can't have big chunky gravel because food will get stuck between the chunky gravel, it will go off, it will cause pollution. They will also try and eat some of that food, and if it's a certain type of food they'll get what's called whirling disease, which is where they go a bit loopy and spin around in circles till they die. That's mainly caused by putting too much food in and then the food getting stuck, going off and then eating it. So get sand if you want to have plants. If you want to go bare bottom, that's fine, but I don't think you can grow plants in pots. That's quite tricky because you need flow around the plants, and every time I've tried to put a plant in a jar of sand it's not done very well. So about 2 inches to 3 inches deep at the back, about 1 inch deep at the front. There's the tank. It's about a finger's width of glass. That's how thin the sand is at the front. At the back it does get much deeper. And then of course you can only grow certain plants. Some plants just won't grow. The temperature in here at the moment is 28.5, and as you can see there's quite a lot of flowing going on. So those plants are waggling around in the current. There's one there. I've got a plant, and there's a bit of orange peel, which is another experiment, but we'll talk about that in another video. But you can see they're all very, very green. There's nothing added to this tank. I don't do fertilizers. I think it affects your water in a bad way. There's no other chemicals going in at all. This is just RO water with 25% HMA added, and then I'm changing a bucket's worth every 2 days at the moment just to see what happens. If you're going to put plants in sand though, stick a root tub under the plant. I think that might be the secret as to why these plants grow like this. I'm forever pulling out plants, and almost every week now I'm pulling leaves off of the plants as they kind of die off and the new ones seem to grow out the middle. So if you look closely in the middle of that one, there's new leaves coming out the centre, and they're all doing quite well. The other thing is what kind of plants. Now some plants just won't grow because of the temperature. Some plants won't grow in one person's tank that grow well in another person's tank. I can't grow Java fern in here. And that, is it a Nubia stuff? That won't go either, don't know why. But Vallis goes nuts, as you can see. Some of that's like 6 feet long. Amazon swords go nuts. In fact, anything in that family of plants, I think these ones here, I can't say the names. I'll post the names and a link to a web page with the plants on that grow in here really well. And the other thing, of course, when I buy some plants, I'll buy a weird plant just to see what happens to it. So I know these grow. I don't need to buy any more of them. The Vallis just seems to multiply on its own. But every now and again I'll grow an experimental plant. That's the result. So something, I think, if you can see that, that was a big bushy green thing about a week ago, and that's just gone. So something's either eating it or I don't know what, but that one clearly don't grow, so don't buy that one again. And then I tried a couple of pink ones as well, which is probably more difficult. They're still hanging on, but not going too mad. So I will stick to the easy ones, which is Amazon swords, giant Vallis. There's some red Vallis in there, but didn't go very red. And there is a lily. Can't remember which one that is. I'll write that in the comments too, or down in the notes. But he's gone insane. There's lily pads everywhere. He disappeared for about a year after planting, and then all of a sudden he came back, and now it's taking over the tank. And if you look up here, there's just lily pads all the way along the front. It does make the tank a little bit dark, but the fish seem to like that kind of cover. So those do really well too. There's some pondweed in there which sneaked in, not pondweed, duckweed, which sneaked in on some of the plants. Now I fish tons of that out every week and it comes back. I'm sure it's probably cleaning the water quite nicely because it's pulling out a load of stuff. There's a bit of frog bit there too. That never used to grow either. Now all of a sudden it does. So it's just weird. And then there's a big giant nice green one over the back there. He's only been there a couple of weeks. That's nice, that one. So hopefully that will do well. It looks quite good at the moment. There's no signs of any dodgy leaves or anything like that going on. But the other thing is these plants up here, these are slightly different. Running in that top sump. I might do a separate video about that. I think most people are familiar with the sweet potato experiment. I think that's been there 2 months now. It's still quite firm. It's grown all the way up to the top of the lights. And of course there's the odd strawberry for an experiment, lovely experiment, and some lucky bamboo on the side. So all of that's using up stuff out of the water, which is quite nice. But yeah, lots of people asking about plants. Temperature's 28.5, sometimes it's 29. Get some good sand, put your plants in, stick a root tub under the plants. Now, top tip for giant vallis people, I have noticed if you shove the roots in too deep, they don't grow. Which is why, and I know it looks untidy, if you look at these down here, that's a good example right there. So the plant's kind of out of the sand, but the roots are in the sand, and those are the plants that go absolutely mad. I don't know why, but that's something I found out, is if you plant them and give them a bit of a tweak, so they just pulled out the sand. See, there's more there. Those really big ones, they don't look like they're planted properly, but they're the ones that grow. If you bury them, they don't seem to grow. So don't know why that is, no idea. But if you want good long vallis, plant it down, stick a root tub underneath it, give it a tweak up, obviously so they don't come out, and hopefully you'll have some vallis success, so good luck. But yeah, that's the top tips on the plants. We'll do a few more vids, give us some likes, have a subscribe, I'll try and keep it coming. This hasn't been cleaned for a week odd, as you can tell. I'm not shy, I don't mind just seeing it when it's doing weird things. So there's, yeah, that needs a tidy, needs a clean. There's a tiny bit of algae on the glass. That's the only algae I get. I don't know if you can see those green spots. That's the only algae I get. That will go straight off. Really strange. And I don't know if it's because there's so many plants, you don't get so much algae. No idea. But stuff just sometimes seems to work out and then other times it doesn't. So yeah, I will list the plants down below. Or give you a link. Any questions, stick them in the comments, happy to answer. But that's what I found out with growing plants in a discus tank at 28.5 to 29 degrees C. Good luck. Having signed off, I forgot the most important part, and that's your lights. They do need good lights, but you don't need to go mad. All this has is a fluval plant free, and I'll try and screen grab the settings. I mean, it's the biggest one they do, and it's just rested on the top. It's absolutely nothing complicated at all. It's a very nice light. It's got the dimmers built in, you can control the colours, all that stuff. Just make sure that you turn the blue right down, because I think that gives you algae. But maybe I'll test that out. We'll turn the blue right up and see if the algae comes back. So yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention the lights, but it really is that straightforward. I've got another one up there, which is an aquascape, just to keep these guys happy. Seems to be doing the trick. So yeah, plants with your discus. I don't think that's that difficult either. Maybe I'm just lucky.